afternoon everybody, and welcome back to Birmingham Wildlife Conservation Park for our latest Facebook Live video. And today we are continuing our world tour that we started last week, but we are still in Australia. We've moved across the country, so we're now towards the southwest of Australia, but today we are going to focus on our brush-tailed bettong, who you can see in shot at the moment, which is handy. You may need to bear with me slightly with the video today, just because it's quite dark in here, and he does keep going down into a very dark spot down there. So we might just have to play it by ear with him today. It's just down there at the moment. Just off behind me. Oh, there he is. On the box there. So yeah, as ever, please feel free to send in any questions or comments you might have. Otherwise, we will crack on with these bettong. So, brush-tailed bettong are found in southwestern Australia. They are a species of marsupial, much like the wallabies that we saw last week. And they're in the rat kangaroo family, along with things like potteroo and other rat kangaroo kind of species. Hi Matt, hope you're all okay. There you go, mister. Come back over there. I don't know if you can see him, he's down there. Oh, you jump that way. Just in there. Settle down, my friend, settle down. So yeah, like I say, brush-tailed bettong are found in southwestern Australia. They do have quite a limited range. They're only found in a couple of small areas now in southwestern Australia, and they are a critically endangered species. So they were once widespread throughout the scrub and the forests of southwestern Australia. But around 100 years ago or so, there was a big population crash, and that was mainly due to the introduction of non-native predators, things like red foxes and feral cats. And yeah, these species hunted the bettong, and yeah, brought them really close to the edge of extinction. I'm gonna jump off into the dark again. So yeah, and that's why they are classed as critically endangered, which is a real shame, because they are lovely little animals. There was a little bit of a population recovery, due to some conservation efforts, which involved kind of removing red foxes and feral cats from populations, as best as could be done. But there was once again another population crash in around about 2000, I think it was 2001, which was thought to be due to parasitic infection, which then made bettong a little bit more susceptible to predation to any predators that were still around. So yeah, they rejoined the red list as a critically endangered species around 20 years ago or so now. So yeah, they are struggling in the wild. It's not just these introduced predators that cause them issues. It is also habitats being removed for farmland, for grazing. You have to choose the one dark spot of the enclosure, don't you? There you go. So yeah, they do face a number of threats in their southwestern Australian homes. Hi Xenia, hope you're okay today. Nice to see you tuning in. So brush-tailed bettong's diet mainly consists of fungi out in Australia, which we do feed them a little bit of here. Don't know if you can see him from this angle, it's all a bit too dark. Yeah, so it's mainly fungi that they eat in the wild. Around there somewhere. There you are. You can see why they're called rat kangaroos, as well as these jumping around the enclosure. They move a lot like you'd expect a kangaroo to. They've got big, strong, powerful back legs that they use to jump around. They are obviously just a lot smaller than their cousins. So they do also actually have a semi-prehensile tail. You can see their little long tail there at the moment. That's semi-prehensile, so they are actually able to grab things with that tail, the very end of that tail. Mainly bedding material. They'll grab bedding material with that tail and take it to their den, allowing them to keep their den nice and clean with fresh bedding material. Going down there into the dark, which isn't very helpful, is it, my friend? Oh, you are just there actually. You're just behind that tree, which is not the best place. Now I can just see your back end at the moment. So our Bettong here at the park live in our Loris house. So that's where we are at the moment. We are in our Loris house. I'm currently in the Pygmy Slow Loris side. There is a Pygmy Slow Loris just asleep in the tree. And we have our slender Loris next door, and we have one Bettong living on the floor in both enclosures. These guys did used to live in our nocturnal house in the middle enclosure, as we call it, but that's now got our 3 cloud rats in. So these guys, nice to still have them on show in here, because there are not many places in the UK with this species. They are probably about 4 or 5 collections, I believe, where we have these species, which is nice that we're one of them. Hi Mary, hi Sue, hope you're both okay today. So yeah, he's just currently sitting behind that tree at the moment. Slightly awkward for us. Let's see if I can get a better angle there. So generally they do live solitarily, Xena. We keep them separate. Ooh. A bit of a wobble there. Coming down this way. You come and say hello. So yeah, they generally live on their own. And yeah, that's why we keep them individually. I'll be honest, I'm not sure of the actual specific details of the Bettong that we've got here. Sorry, I know you're just looking at a black screen at the moment. I'm just trying to see if I can spot where he's got to. Yeah, I'm not actually sure of the specific details. They came to us from Sholton Wildlife Park, down in Devon a few years ago now. But yeah, I haven't actually got any info on ages or genders or anything like that of these guys. I believe we've only got males, I think. I'm not 100% sure on that. Where have you got to? I can hear you moving. Oh, there you are. Come back out now. So yeah, that's basically the brush-tailed Bettong. They are also known as a woylie, which is comes from a native term over in Australia. So yeah, if you see the name woylie, that's these guys, brush-tailed Bettong. You've gone to bed. You've gone into your bed, haven't you? That might put an end to this. No, they are quite cute little things, like you say, Mary. Nice endearing little faces, bless them. No, they are lovely little things. So yeah, that's pretty much the Bettong. I thought it would be nice to showcase these guys. I don't think we've ever really done a video with these guys. Just have a look at one of the Loris while we're here. Seeing as the Bettong has now gone to bed. I'm glad he came out actually, because quite a lot of the time they are quite secretive and quite shy. So yeah, it was nice that he was out when I came in. Bless him. Yeah, so like I say, these guys do live with our Loris. They aren't actually found from the same part of the world. We will be back to do the Pygmy Slow Loris and the Slender Loris later in the year as part of the world tour. But no, the Loris species are both kind of Southeast Asian species. So yeah, we'll be back to see them later in the year. We won't be seeing Mo and Aria today, I'm afraid, Zena. They're all fine, they're all good. But yeah, we won't be heading out over there today. Yeah, it's all a bit miserable. A bit miserable for them. So I think when I walked past a minute ago, they were all tucked up in bed, which I can't blame them for. Hi Tim, hope you're okay. Oh, thank you, Mary. Yeah, this building was our old invertebrate house, which we converted a couple of years ago for the purposes of the Loris, which is really nice. So yeah, they seem to do quite nicely in here. Nice to have the two species side by side so people can kind of compare them as best as possible. Right guys, feel free to send any last minute questions. Otherwise we will wrap up in a minute because he has gone to bed. Next week I think we will be with our Eclectus parrots for the next stop of our world tour, sticking with Australia, well, the very north of Australia, and then going into some of the islands to the north of Australia. So we will be we'll be seeing them next week. Yeah, no, it's definitely not the day to be out and about, Zena. Yeah, I think they've made the sensible decision to go to bed, which I can't blame them. Generally, they'll just have one offspring on average. Oops, sorry, got my hand in the way. Yeah, and they, I believe females are reproductive from about 6 months of age, and then I believe they can have a little one every 3 months or so. But again, they'll probably, I'm pretty sure they follow the same kind of cycle that the wallabies do, that we talked about last week, where they can have a couple of offspring on the go at once in different stages of development. So yeah, that is a little reproductive cycle. So Tim, the Loris aren't actually from Australia. We'll come back and see the Loris later in the year as part of the world tour. The Bettong, who has gone to bed now, he is in that box down there. The Bettong are found in a few kind of small regions of southwestern Australia now. Yeah, got quite a small range now. They used to have a much larger range, but they are now critically endangered and are found in just a couple of small areas of southwestern Australia. Yeah, the pygmy slow loris here are Southeast Asian, so we'll see them in a few weeks probably as we make our way up through Southeast Asia. The slender loris next door are kind of Indian and Sri Lankan, so they'll be a little bit later in the year when we make our way through kind of mainland Asia. Right then guys, the Bettong's gone to bed, so I think that definitely calls time on the video. So thank you for tuning in to the latest stop on our world tour. Like I say, we'll be back again next week with our Eclectus parrot, so hopefully it's not raining next week, because otherwise we'll be getting a little bit damp. But we'll leave you with the Loris to say goodbye. But yeah, thanks for tuning in everybody, and we will see you again next week. Cheers guys.